I have talked about the skill tree refund update that's going to happen and the ability to reset your skill tree. However, what I think I got confused about is the fact that I thought the upfront cost and the tax that the developers have said is going to occur was one and the same thing. It doesn't actually appear to be the case. Here, Outer Bears says this reset will have an upfront cost and most of the currency you've invested will be refunded minus a small tax. So, from this statement, it seems like the upfront cost and the small tax seems to be one and the different. How so? Well, Below Natural says that the upfront cost will start off as a small amount of coins and ramp up until it hits the max cap price. Essentially, what Below Natural is saying is that when you buy, say, one skill, say the accelerator, that you're able to refund that through the skill tree reset. However, it will start off as a very small amount of coins to reset it. Probably not enough to get most of the skill tree back, initially at least. Or maybe because Below Natural says that the upfront cost will start off as a small amount of coins. Then it ramps all the way up until it hits a max cap price. So it looks like you have to sell all of your skills to reset the entire skill tree. It doesn't look like that you can pick and choose which skills that you can reset. Thereby meaning that the skill that I suggested that you could do with the Scholar is to buy this entirety up to like level 20, and then once the event ends, because you only really need this for maybe events to shorten the amount of period to actually get the logbooks for the event enemies. After the event ends, what you could possibly do under my original theory of this was sell the Scholar skill in its entirety, get a full refund of that, and you would have effectively just paid a limited time, like 10,000 coins or whatever, and then the money that you get back, which was about 100,000 coins under a 10% tax system, you could invest elsewhere, like 2 golden crates or something else. Now, Below Natural does say that there's going to be a max cap price. I assume that max cap price will be if you buy every single skill in the game. Now, you may ask, what is the point of that? Why would you sell all of your skills just for the entire cost to be given back to you minus, say, a 10% tax? Well, actually, it's similar to remortgaging your home. When you remortgage your home, you get a lump sum of cash back, but then you also have to repay the costs for the new mortgage, obviously, which means that, sure, someone may have bought the entire skill tree for, say, the new price of 800,000 coins, but they may end up broke after it. And if the developers were to release, I don't know, a new golden skin, which is not likely, let's be real, and the player did not have enough coins for it at the time, what they could do is, similar to remortgaging, they can sell the entire skill tree back and invest it into that new golden crate, and then reinvest anything left over into new skills. Now, I said that a hypothetical tax system that the developers might do is a 10% tax, and people said that that's quite high, especially if you've bought, say, 1 million coins worth of the tree. Well, in that context, yes, 10% is quite a high tax. Do bear in mind that you have bought it. And when you're selling towers in the games, do bear in mind that most people, they would only get, if they haven't bought any of the skill tree, 33% of your tower cost back. And yet people are more than happy to sell their towers for 33% of their cost back, yet they're not happy with resetting all of your towers for a 10% tax. Whereas if you sell your towers, you get a 66% tax. Furthermore, Below Natural saying that the upfront cost to reset your skill tree being a small amount of coins confirms that it's going to be coin based and not gem based or Robux based. This was speculated to be the case. For example, Shane, he said that he wanted a method that was like Robux based, and I would have thought that the developers wouldn't have gone down that route because people were pissed about the fact that the skill tree was quite expensive, and having a feature be locked off with Robux probably doesn't quell that opinion. Now, Outer Bears has actually responded to some people in the general Tower Defense Simulator chat, so I'm just going to go over some of the things that he said. Firstly, someone said that how do you disable skill tree for the Hidden Wave, and then Outer Bears says everyone needs to have the setting disabled. It's quite easy, just go to settings here, and you'll see skills enabled, you just turn that off. And that way, you can play the Hidden Wave. Do bear in mind that everyone that is triumphing the Hidden Wave needs to have this skill disabled. I've had some people come up to me and say that, well, I can't get the Hidden Wave. I type in 1009, 1, and I forgot what the other number is actually. I forgot 120, that's the number. And I can't activate the Hidden Wave because there's no glitch effects. No, it's because there's someone on your team that hasn't disabled their skills. Do bear in mind that if even one player has skills enabled, it automatically means you cannot achieve the hidden wave. Every single person in your party, including yourself, needs to have this disabled for you to activate the hidden wave. Now, interestingly, something that I haven't discussed upon is what the new cost for the skill tree is going to be in total costs. I'm not entirely sure. Given the fact that it's 1.6 million coins as of right now, I'm not entirely sure how much they'll decrease it by. Do bear in mind that I think all of the levels for all of the skills up to about level 10, maybe even level 15, are actually fairly reasonable. It's only after level 15 where things start to ramp up and it becomes so expensive. Thereby meaning that at least I think 500,000 coins is probably worth it, purely because that's like the early game skill tree set. So I think in the grand scheme of things, 1.6 million coins, there's not really too much that you can reduce it by. Like, some people are asking for like to go down to 400,000, 500,000. I don't think that's going to be the case. I still think that's too little. Now, obviously, I've started this out with 723,000 coins. So I'm a bit biased in this, but for argument's sake, I'm going to say 9,000, a million coins seems fairly reasonable at the high end of things. And in the context of, say, the golden crates, which some people have said that, well, you have the golden crates, which if you were to get all the golden skins were to cost 300,000 coins, then you add it on top of their skill tree, you're literally looking at like 2 million coins to get everything in Tower Defense Simulator. Perhaps 700,000 coins, which admittedly is roughly the amount of coins I had before this update. Perhaps that is a good idea, purely because 700,000 plus the 300,000 coins that you need for the golden skins, that's a million coins there. And even then, that a million coins is quite an effort to get. Now, obviously, this would invalidate much of the grinding that I would need to personally do, purely because I have 700,000 coins, and even approaching 800,000 coins. But yeah, I think most people, they reasonably have like 400,000, 500,000 coins. Ask them to grind out like another set of golden skins is effectively what's happening here. But no final price has actually been confirmed for the new costs for the skill tree. While I can speculate, it's not confirmed, and it'll be pretty disingenuous for me to actually speculate if I say like 1.2 million and it ends up being 800,000. Now, some clarifications for the reset skill tree. Someone, I think this is the moderator, said that there will be one mass refund that will give all your coins back after the prices have changed, and then that's what's taxed. Then when it's taxed. Outer Spares says that this is actually incorrect. It's just the difference that will change, and there's not going to be a mass reset of all the skills in the next update or when this update to the skill tree is added. The Oxifrite, who I actually know, says that hopefully it buzzed like the recovery center so I can double my money. You were the person that stole my money, by the way. I didn't get my money from the recovery center. I want my 35,000 coins back. Outer Spares says no, it won't be like that, unfortunately. So I assume it won't be anything like the recovery center. It'll just be automatically granted to you. Outer Bears says it's funny because he made the recovery center. So, Outer Bears, can I have my 35,000 coins back? I have video proof of me buying the mercenary base, and I also have video proof of me getting denied a refund for the mercenary base. So, can I have it back, please? Outer Bears, can we get a ballpark estimate of the new skill tree cost to max? He says 600,000 or more, at least. So actually, I was genuinely right with my predictions. I said at least 700,000, 800,000. It seems to be around there. As I said, I think it feels right for it to be about 700,000, purely because if you add on top of this golden crates, that will be a million coins right there. Someone asked if the skills will be nerfed to compensate for this. Outer Bears says no, though some of them may be looked into again, because, I mean, a lot of criticism has been made for some of the skills. For me, personally, the Scholar, it's a bad skill, but some people criticize the Precision skill, purely because it barely adds any DPS to a supposed tower. I mean, for the Necromancer, sure, it adds a lot of DPS, but that's because it can attack 3 enemies at the same time. Someone said that it's economy skills that probably may be looked into. No, Outer Bears says the tower placement increase is probably the one that's going to be looked into the most. Outer Bears also comments a tick next to someone saying a tax of 5%. Now, I stated 10% because when I think of taxes in the United Kingdom, I think around 10% is actually 20% are taxed in the United Kingdom. However, 5% is actually quite little in comparison to what I pay in taxes. A moderator said we didn't take into account how many people in statistics were basing the cost of using macros. So, Outer Bears says this, a big part of the analytics was screwed because of bots. The average coin balance was over 1 million for levels 1,000. Thanks, botters. So yes, the developers did actually look into the average cost or the average coin count for players in Tower Defense Simulator. However, what they failed to account for was botters increasing the amount of coins that they had in their inventories. Now, safe to say that if the developers find out that you were botting your account for just for like 1 million coins, yeah, you're very screwed. You'll probably get banned. However, obviously, you could be doing it legitimately. You could be using macros or whatever. However, this is why the cost was so high. It's purely because of those macro and bot users. So yes, if we were to blame anyone for the amount of coins that the skill tree costs, blame the macro users and the bot users. Thank you very much. Was the Ducky DJ quest removed on purpose? Yes. I mean, I could have predicted that. The event was gone, so you couldn't really progress on it anymore, so you had to end it then. Someone asked, is it okay to, or is it still worth to buy the skill trees now before the changes come out? Altabear says it doesn't change anything. You're going to get a refund on it anyways. And in conclusion, thank you for attending Altabear's TED Talk. You can stop spamming, replying me about how expensive the skill tree is. Very cool. So at least we got some clarifications of at least the ballpark figure of how much the new skill tree will cost and perhaps a new tax figure that he would apply.